Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Caribbean Immigrant Podcast. I am your host, Kamala Aaron, from the island of Dominica. And this is the podcast where we talk the sweet, spicy, and sometimes uncomfortable truth about leaving crystal waters for concrete jungles. And the person who's pulling up to the Caribbean Immigrant today, I'm meeting for the first time, but I feel like I know him because he's from St. Lucia. Okay. Yes. St. Lucia is in the building. Let me say thank you for pulling up to Ketty, Manuel. We're going to get to all of the great things that Ketty is
Thank you.
doing and his family production company. Ketty, thank you for pulling up.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God. St. Lucia, I'm from Dominica. I keep saying that, throughout the episodes, so everybody gets it. But we were talking off screen, and I want to bring this into the episode that we feel a connection regardless of where we are when we meet. When a Dominican sees a St. Lucian, we feel like this is home. Like,
Absolutely.
you are our people.
Yeah, we call Dominica our sister island for a reason, right? Yeah.
100%.
Culture is
100%.
so similar, language so similar, history so similar that we feel that we have that timeless connection.
Yes. It's really a great connection. And uh, as soon as you meet a St. Lucian, you also uka pale Creole,
Maybe.
pies moon pakonet sa uka dia. So it's great. But we're gonna get to all of that, right? But I always start the podcast with 5 rapid fire questions. All my first time guests get 5 rapid fire questions. And I'm going to say this to you, Ketty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean people can't do rapid fire. They cannot.
Hey, shoot. Let's see. Let's see how I do.
You can probably top, Ketty. Okay, let's go with the rapid fire. And then we're going to get into your story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first question, what's your all-time favorite memory of the Caribbean?
All-time favorite memory of the Caribbean? Playing in the river with my cousins.
Ah, okay. Your favorite Caribbean saying?
Favorite Caribbean saying? Those who don't hear will feel.
Kenny, how much do you know about that?
Hey, I've felt it. So I know.
Who has the best dialect in the Caribbean? And give me your best impression of it.
The best dialect in the Caribbean. So as someone from the Eastern Caribbean, I am very amused by the Trini dialect. And you want my best impression?
Yes.
So the Trini sing, right? When they talk. So all you have to do is talk like a Lucian. And if you talk like a Lucian and you're singing, then automatically you have the Trini accent. It's the same accent, it's just that you're singing while you're doing it.
That is so cool. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
Damn, that is super impressive. Okay. What is your go-to Caribbean song? The song that when you want to get into a Caribbean vibe, that's your go-to song.
Go-to Caribbean song. A lot of you know Marshall.
Of course.
13 is we name. We don't play. We go in night and day. You know, it's such a happy song to me.
It is.
And it really captures like that Caribbean essence, from my perspective.
Okay. And final question in the rapid fire is, who is your favorite Caribbean artist?
My favorite Caribbean artist. So I am a musician. This one is a tougher one for me. Okay, you got me with this one. Okay. Let me be patriotic and I'll say Ronald Boo Hinkson.
Okay, I'm not familiar. Tell
So
me
Ronald
about that.
Buhengson is a smooth jazz guitarist from St. Lucia,
Okay.
world renowned, and happens to be a very good acquaintance of mine. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay,
So big up
I,
Boo.
I need to get caught up. I need to get caught up. I did a podcast in season 1 with the St. Lucian, and one of the songs that I got hooked onto because she was talking about it is I am a damn proud Lucian.
Yeah, so I actually went to high school with that guy.
You
Sly.
did?
Sylvanus, yep. Yeah. I'm very proud of him. He did very well, yeah.
Listen, that song is like an earworm. Because
It is.
I'm Dominique and I'm like, I'm a damn proud Lucian. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not a Lucian.
Hey, you could come in. The water's warm. The water's warm. You could jump in right now. It's all good.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm interested to find out about your music. So now, okay, so that was the rapid fire. Okay. You did well. You
Oh,
did
thank
well.
you.
Congratulations. You
Thank you.
actually did rapid fire. Okay. So let me get now into your story, your Caribbean immigrant story. You're from St. Lucia. You live in Boston.
Yes.
How did you get from St. Lucia to Boston?
Yeah. So I'll give you the short version. I left.
This is not
second.
rapid fire anymore, okay?
Okay, so I can just okay. All right, I'll give you the story. So, I left secondary school, and I went to Vieux Fort Compre in St. Lucia, Vieux Fort Comprehensive Secondary School, and after leaving immediately, I have relatives that live in New Jersey, right? And so, classic story, I went to live with my aunt, and figured out the SATs or the SATs after CXC, and applied for college and went to college in Michigan and did my 5 years of purgatory. And then I got a job in Boston out of college, and I've been working in Boston, except for a brief period during COVID where I actually went to St. Lucia and taught IT there for a little while.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been back in Boston ever since.
So wait, let's break this down. First of all, what did you study?
Engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, mechanical engineering to be exact.
Mechanical engineering. So, and you said you're a musician. Let's try to stay on track here.
Yes.
So do you work in the field that you studied, or are you a working musician?
Technically both. So I do still gig music. I play both guitar and bass, with bass being my main instrument. I also work in the engineering field. Now I don't technically do pure engineering right now. Instead, I'm more of a software expert for engineers.
Okay, got it. So you went to live in New Jersey straight out of high school in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what that was like for what, a 17-year-old, 16, 17, being pulled from St. Lucia to New Jersey, the concrete jungle. Okay. Tell me about that experience.
So before, say, delving into any negatives, I do want to highlight positives. So I was lucky enough to have the support of my aunt, my cousins, who were very supportive, made sure I didn't lack for anything. And so I'm extremely grateful for that. But I I went
You're
from
a Caribbean immigrant. There's always a but.
yeah, I went from being very comfortable in St. Lucia, being very well-rounded and liked, and I had my little girlfriend in high school and all of that, and it was painful.
It's painful.
Yeah, it felt like I lost my entire world.
Of course.
And you jump in to the U.S. culture, and you don't know where you go in, how things are gonna go. You don't even really like it here. It's not fun.
It's
You don't
cold.
know which places to go to or how to get anywhere you're going. So it took a while to adjust.
It took a while. How
Yeah.
long do you think it was before you felt like your 10 toes were planted in on the ground?
So I would say it took an accident to feel that way,
Tell
which
me.
I know that sounds really odd,
Yeah.
but it was only up until I began healing and recovering from that car accident that I really also simultaneously kind of acclimated to living here in the US.
S
Um,
so, what can you tell me about that experience?
yeah, so that is a podcast episode all by itself,
I'm
but
sure.
but the long and short of it is I bought a car, college student, broke college student. I bought a cheap car and there was something mechanically wrong with it that I wasn't
Mm.
aware of. And so I got into a really bad accident.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, and almost didn't make it. And it was not only harrowing for my family, but it also took a toll on my school college community because I went to a relatively small college.
Mhm.
And you know, that experience I think made me realize that I had community in the US
Mhm.
and made me wake up to that fact in a way that I was not previously aware.
Got it. So when you were in that situation, it's almost like you got a wake-up call, like, "Hey, this is not as bad as I think it is. There are people here who care about me. There are people here who are looking out for me, and so let me just chill." Is that what happened?
Yeah, and I think in the mind of every immigrant, it takes a while to feel like you're not there's a feeling that maybe only immigrants know,
Tell me.
which is when you land here, it feels novel,
Yes.
right? You feel like you're in America
Yes.
and your mind is processing, well, oh yeah, this is how it feels. Like, this is what it's like. And this is life here, right? And then coming from that to the point where, oh, this is a regular day. This is just where I live, right? It takes, in- from my experience, a number of years to transition from I'm in America to I'm just waking up and I'm going to work, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
That is a very, very interesting perspective that I absolutely get it immediately, but I had not thought about it like that. That basically, from what I'm hearing you saying, it's like, "Oh, this is America. Oh, this is what I saw on TV. Oh, these are the big buildings. Oh, this is how many lanes are,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
they literally have 8 lanes here. Like, this is insane."
Yeah.
And then you go to, "Okay, this is just my life. I'm going to school, I'm going to work, I'm doing my business. This is not like America. This is just life."
Yeah.
This is interesting, but and I recognize it. I recognize it 100%. Um, but never thought of that perspective before. Now, I am going to get to the big things that you're doing, meaning, just to let our podcast audience know that, Caddy's, family's production company is doing, um a movie, and it's gonna be screening in Brooklyn on October 19. Um, we'll hopefully you'll see all this episode before this, um, and before October 19. And, so I want to get to that,
Mhm.
to talk about your involvement in that, but I also want to give, our audience an understanding of exactly who you are and how you got to that point.
Of course.
So How did you get from New Jersey? So you got a job in Boston. Um, when you did you ever think of living in Boston?
I so again, maybe an experience that is unique to an immigrant person. So oftentimes people who live here, they have a support system that they're comfortable leaning on, right? I also had a support system. So once again, I want to thank my aunt for always being there for me in Jersey, right? After I left college, I could have very easily gone to live there and it would have been no problem. But being me, I left college and I was like, yeah, no, I can't go back. I gotta stand on my own 2 feet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I got my first job in Boston, I didn't really think of living in Boston. I
Mm.
was way more focused on I got my job, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it was all about getting to the job and working, being independent in that way, and not so much about living in Boston.
That is very interesting. And again, as a Caribbean immigrant, completely understood
Yeah.
because I am in Nashville and we came to Nashville from Connecticut because of a job offer. I was promoted um from on the job and they told me the job is in Nashville. So we want you to go to Nashville. And so when I told my husband, the job is in Nashville, I was kind of down and he said, "Who cares? We following the money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Follow the money." We're going we're going to Nashville.
Yeah.
And immediately I just shifted my mind and I said, "Wait, but we know 0 people in Nashville." He said,
We'll meet somebody.
"Exactly. And and
Yeah.
we're gonna follow the money."
All right. All right.
So I completely understand what you're saying. Came to Nashville, you know, what, 3 years ago, and absolutely fell in love with it, love it, wanted to be my forever city, you know? So, is Boston that for you?
So, and I apologize if you hear a little background noise here.
No, not hearing anything.
I have gotten very used to Boston. I'm not sure that I've really made it home.
Ah.
So I have very good friends here who I love and appreciate. But I have, yeah, as I said, a very strong familiarity with Boston. I know all the streets. I don't need a GPS, right? But
Which is important, by the way, for an
yeah,
immigrant.
yeah. But I'm not heavy on emotional attachment to the actual city. Although, go Bruins, go Celtics, we in there. Go Sox, right? But I'm not married to Boston itself as a city.
Is there somewhere that you feel as a Caribbean immigrant would make the ideal place to live?
So, hmm, that's a very good question. I will answer thoughtfully. I will say that the New York tri-state area
Mhm.
is sort of a hub for Caribbean people,
Indeed,
especially Brooklyn, Little Caribbean,
for
right?
sure.
You know, I'm not. I'm still not sure if that would be the ideal place. I'd have a strong love for LA.
You
Like I
do?
love LA.
Oh,
So it really doesn't make sense that I don't live in LA. That's how much I love it.
wow.
But I love LA. Um,
What about
but
LA?
it's the vibe.
Hmm. I have not
It's
been, so
yeah.
I don't know the vibe.
I think maybe it's a combination of things in that as a creative, I really
Okay,
feel at home.
got
It's
it.
like people make stuff here.
Yes,
People who have big imaginations make stuff here, they release stuff here and that's I think the culture of the city is aligned with that.
yes.
I love the warmth, right? As a
Of course.
Caribbean person, right?
Yes.
And I also love the possibilities that I feel like LA offers. But to answer your question, I'm going to settle on Florida. And the reason
Florida.
I'll say Florida
Uh-huh.
is because you get a lot of that warmth. You get proximity to the Caribbean. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can hop on a flight, be home in a couple hours. And especially like South Florida culture is, I think, really aligned with Caribbean culture. So,
So I'll tell you something. I my best friend lives in South Florida, and I know quite a number of people who live in South Florida, and I always make fun of Caribbean people who live in Florida because I say
mm.
you're not really in America. Let's just be real.
Yeah,
You can get all the bakes, you can get all the codfish, you can get, all the black pudding, like you can get all the sunshine, you
right.
can get all the accents. Like, how are you living in America? You're not.
Yeah, yeah, I'm right there with you. So, yeah.
So yeah, that doesn't count, okay, Kenny?
Oh, all
Florida,
right. Well,
especially South Florida, does not count.
okay. If Florida doesn't count, uh, how about we settle on the DMV?
The DMV is great.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah,
for Caribbean people, the Caribbean audience who's not acclimated to the United States, the DMV is the District of Columbia, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So, they call it the DMV in the
yeah.
US because it's very, very close. You just go around in circles and you just in one state to the other. If you drive a little more, then you're in the other state. And you drive a little more in the other state in like
Right.
10 minutes.
Yeah. I was actually there not too long ago, about a month ago.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
You're in proximity, in Boston.
yeah.
Caribbean immigrants also like the Northeast for whatever reason. Now, let's get to how you are now involved in this movie that you're doing. And the production company, I don't want to get the name wrong. Um, it's Ionella?
Yeah,
How do you say it?
that's pretty good, pretty close. So, I represent Ionola Pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, and the name comes from the native name of Saint Lucia, right?
Mm,
So I believe the native name was Uranora, but Ionola is a derivative of that. Yeah,
got it. Interesting. So this is basically like the equivalent of ours, which is Waitikobuli,
yep.
for Dominica. So very interesting. Okay, so Ionola Pictures is putting out. Is that your second production?
Very much no.
Okay, scrap that.
Yeah. So, without giving you the whole story, this is our fourth.
Mm.
Yeah, this is the fourth feature film from Ionola Pictures.
Okay, so this is Shantaya's world.
Yeah.
And you, like I said a little bit earlier, you're going to be putting out Shantaya's World screening in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Why Brooklyn?
So actually pronounced Shantae's World.
Shantae's World.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
No
Correct me
worries.
on that.
Reason for Brooklyn is it's very much actually a business driven decision
Mhm.
because we had a very successful tour of the UK, particularly the London area. And our second largest base in, just worldwide is New York City, right? Probably due to the large Caribbean population there. So in all our analytics for all our videos, everything, it's always St. Lucia number one, New York second, right? So it made sense for us in order to launch this North American tour because we are going to other major North American cities. It made a lot of sense for us to start in New York.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so tell us about Shantae's World without giving too much away.
Okay, gladly. So, in order to tell you about Shantae's World, I'm going to sort of ask you some hypothetical questions. What if we took the Caribbean in the 1950s, 1940s, 1960s, and we packaged that, the magic of that, the essence of that, into a film? And not a film that was all about documentary and the facts and the figures and, artifacts from that time, but an actual love story that is entertaining, that will take you on an emotional roller coaster, um, but also just happens to be very true to that time period and can also function as a time capsule. That is Shantae's World. So Shantae's World is a story, it's a love story, it's a time capsule, it's many things combined into one awesome product.
Now, I saw some clips of the movie online, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I was quite frankly very impressed. And no shade to any Caribbean production entities, no shade. But for me, you can, as a creative to myself, um I have an eye, so you can generally tell a Caribbean production
Mm,
because it may not have the budget, it may not have um all the technical, um how can I say, details
mhm.
of a big production. When I looked at Shantae's World, I could not tell that it was a Caribbean production. And again, no shade, no
Right?
shade. I'm just speaking truth.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a Caribbean production. This really okay. I felt like it felt to me like big budget vibes. You give it
Mhm,
big budget
mhm.
energy. You know? You give it big budget energy.
Yeah, so I want to take the opportunity right there to shout out our production company, the production company that we worked right alongside with, All Biz Media. So a lot of the professionalism that you see there in the cinematography comes from All Biz, and it's been awesome working with them, and we are in talks to continue working with them in the future. And yeah, it was a great experience working with All Biz. In fact, our co-director Guillaume Rico is going to be at the screening himself. So anybody listening who pops up, you're going to be able to see him and meet him.
So how you are the marketing COO, the business of
Mhm.
the production. How is your work tied to the movie? Explain to us the things that you actually do.
So I will split that into two parts. So my contribution to the actual production itself, the
Mhm.
film itself, came in post production. So unlike previous productions, I didn't act in the movie. I wasn't on set. But after everything was shot, I was helping with iterations, speaking with our editors, going back and forth on scenes that needed to be cut here and there. And so I helped a lot with post production, scoring the film, the music, all of that. And also the novel as well. Shantae's World is also a book, which, shameless plug. The book is better than the movie, and that will be on sale at the screening. But I also help with getting that book ready as well. So I'm just married to the film at this point.
You're married
Yeah,
to the film.
yeah.
Um, how
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Oh, I forgot to the second part, which is what I do now that the film is done. I am the lead on marketing, strategy for distribution, and basically pushing towards continuity as well, leveraging the product so that we can continue to bring Caribbean excellence in film.
Right. So what was your experience, or what has been your experience as, a Caribbean production company putting work like that out in the public space, and especially, to an audience that has knowledge of what film looks like, what it feels like, what a
Mm.
screening is supposed to be, all of that. This is we're not in St. Lucia anymore.
Right. Yeah. Um, so I want to say two things. Firstly, the Caribbean is beginning to develop a film industry,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
that is extremely exciting
mm,
for me. I That is my passion. I dream of a world where Caribbean stories
mhm.
are being told consistently, and are being told profitably,
Yes.
right? And it's my work so far is to facilitate that, to be a catalyst for that. So I speak to creators and creatives in St. Vincent, in Barbados, in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. We screened there as part of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, and so I want us to develop that film industry, right? But secondly, to your original question of what's it like for us, it is difficult. It's hard. Um, I think the greatest obstacle that uh, Caribbean filmmakers face is this. There is this need for us to be very savvy business people, but filmmakers tend to be creative people, right? And so it's not very often that you find someone who is both, right? And so if we at Ionola Pictures can demonstrate to the region that you can make a film, it can be profitable, and you can then leverage that into a sustainable business model, that's where the gold is. That's where the magic is. Because we have the talent. The talent is undeniable. We have the talent that it takes. We just need Very often you hear people saying we need the funding.
Mhm,
I hate hearing that. I don't like hearing that. Because when I hear people saying we need the funding, we need the government grants, we need this and that, it's saying that we cannot survive on our own. We
mm.
cannot do good business to survive and stand on our own 2 feet, right? And
In
I
other words,
believe we can.
you're not a profitable entity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I believe we can be profitable.
Yes.
And that's the way to go if we want to see sustainable development in this industry.
Well, you better preach. No, you better preach.
Yeah.
Is so I'm curious now, even more, where are you in that goal to
Mhm.
get to the gold that you talk about and the magic? Have you gotten to the magic yet, or are you on the way to the magic?
We're very much on the way. We have a plan. We're working towards that plan, and we're taking this journey step by step. But we're very much on the way.
Right. Um, do you see in the foreseeable future that this is, I mean, like, here's what I'm here's here let me ask it more bluntly. Is it going to take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 5 years? What's the timeline for getting there, based on your experience and the work that you think has been done so far?
So I'm not sure I can give you an exact timeline, but I will say this: it's going to take less time than we think.
Mm,
Um, because I went to Cairo Festa this year,
mhm.
and I was so inspired
You were
by the level of cinematography I'm seeing, the storytelling that I'm seeing, the talent that I'm seeing, all across the region. And so I think all it takes all it's going to take is a consolidation of that work, distribution of that work, and even example, so that example of a roadmap that other creators can follow, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I see us on the edge of the blade, cutting into these barriers, right? And so when I work, I'm not driven by profit. I'm driven by I'm not contradicting myself. Just stay with me. I'm not driven by profit. I'm driven
I
by
feel like I was like, oh, Kenny, you had me until
just,
you're not driven
just
by
stick with me. I'm going somewhere. I'm
Okay,
going
okay,
somewhere.
okay,
So I'm out. Maybe the better way to frame that is I'm not driven by personal profit,
okay, okay.
right? I'm driven by the need to demonstrate that we can be profitable, right? We can develop a solid business model for creating our stories, for sustaining ourselves as storytellers in the region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, and I, just to interject a little bit, I think because one of the things that would help to make it sustainable is that Caribbean people would have to be able to see that I can actually be a working actress, a working production
Exactly.
assistant, a working director, and not have to do it as a side hustle.
Right.
And the only way that that is sustainable is if the actual industry is profitable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
That's exactly what I wanted to say. It pains my heart when I see even some of our own actors. I'll name Denzi Charles specifically if she ever watches this. She
Okay.
played the role of Little Shante in the film, and we've literally watched her grow up right in front of us, and she has the passion for acting, and we need someone like that to then have an avenue to excel and continue to act and be paid for her
Be
acting
paid, be paid.
and yeah, not have to pursue something else just because of where she was born.
Absolutely. Now you're talking my language, Kenny. um, so what inspired you at Carifester this year? What was inspiring?
So I'll be very specific. We made sure to be very intentional about our use of our time
Mhm,
at the festival. There's a lot going on, so we made sure to, hey, let's catch as many film screenings as possible. Let's connect with as many film creatives as we can.
mhm.
And so we went to this screening, and the very first screening, uh, it just grabbed me, right? It grabbed me with the framing of the shots. They were telling a story in just the framing of the shots. There was a lot of subtext used. Uh, for listeners who aren't familiar with what subtext means, it's basically what you see in the film that is not exposition, but is just visual cues or small body language changes or facial expressions that kind of tell you the story without you being told the story,
Right,
right?
right.
And so there was such masterful use of that in that very first film that was screened, and the actors were very believable. And I was touched. I don't know if you can tell, but I love films. I love acting. So I love believing what I'm seeing, and I really do connect with stories in a very, very strong way. And I connected with that, and I watched other films after that, and I connected with those, and I'm like, no, we're telling real stories, we're telling good stories, and we're telling them well in the Caribbean. And that was, I left on cloud nine. I was smiling from ear to ear.
Wow. So with your screening coming up, in Brooklyn, October 19,
Mhm.
what can people expect? What is the expectation for that?
So I will tell you, and if I had the actual time stamps memorized, I could tell you exactly when you would laugh I could tell you exactly when you would cry. I could tell you exactly when you'd clap. Because the reason I can do that is after being at screening after screening, I have seen the reactions, and the reactions are predictable.
Mm.
And that, I think, is for every artist one of the best flatteries that you can ever get. It means people everywhere connect with the film in the same way.
In the same way. And so who's the audience for this movie, Shantae's World?
Yeah, of course, everyone is invited, but this is for our Caribbean people, our even more specifically our Caribbean women, but the men, of course, you should definitely come. But this is for our Caribbean people.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I'm looking forward to laughing with you, crying with you. The reactions are always the same.
I saw a clip where there was, uh, basically like a caught being told,
Mhm.
um, and I was like this the whole time, following the narrative of this caught and, watching the expressions of the people, um, who are listening. So believable. I felt like I was transported into that time, and I'm there listening. And this is exactly what a movie is supposed to do, is to make you feel like you're there.
All right.
And I felt that. No, I mean, I'm a straight shooter, everybody knows that. My detriment sometimes, but I don't give a compliment if I don't think the person deserves it, because they're going to take the wrong message out of it and take what I say and continue it to their own detriment, and that doesn't help anybody.
All right. All
So
right.
if I would not say anything, but not tell you the wrong thing or something that's not true. So I was transfixed watching that scene. Um, so I'm curious. Having said that, um, on the 19th, who's invited? Every Caribbean person who's invited?
Yeah, every Caribbean person first.
Yes.
And then, of course, after that, we want to show New York City what we can do. We want to invite everyone from every culture, everyone who appreciates Caribbean culture to come on out. You're more than welcome. You will enjoy it just as much as every other Caribbean person. And so we're inviting everyone to come on out to the Brooklyn Music School Theater, as you said, October 19th at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Eastern time.
Eastern Time.
For Caribbean people, it's the same time as your world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay? It's the same time as our world in the Caribbean. Um, so what's next for Ionola Pictures,
Mhm.
when you think about, everything that you spoke about, um, big picture, profit, great screening, all of that. What's next on your agenda?
Yeah. So the immediate steps that we're taking as a company is we want to maximize the distribution of Shantae's World, and then also leverage Shantae's World to continue making great content, right? And so what that means is we have to be working on the next productions now, right? we're not we're not waiting for Shantae's World to live out its usable life before we actually get started on what's next. And so we already have films in our pocket. Namely, I'm not going to spoil anything, but namely Secrets of the Ghetto, which has been a dream of my mom, Mrs. Emmanuel, for my entire childhood and still is today. And so we recently talked about that film as recently as last week. And so it's being written, and we want to commence production on that as soon as we can. And also a film that actually came to us while we were together in Barbados a couple of weeks ago now, or maybe a month ago, which is The Way We Were.
Mm,
And that one I'll be sort of writing myself because it kind of comes from my own experience.
really?
Yeah.
V- Very interesting. Now, here's what that made me think about. As a Caribbean immigrant living in the United States, you're acclimated, for the most part, to the US,
All right.
but you are still in this world of creating Caribbean content.
Yeah.
Um, what's the juxtaposition? Tell us what that is like. Do you feel like you have not left, like you still are holding on to everything Caribbean because of the world that you live in as a creative, putting out content for Caribbean people?
So I think every Caribbean immigrant can probably resonate with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
You develop multiple people. So you're always going to be the Caribbean version of you, right? That never leaves, you know. Uh, I tend to sound American when I'm speaking in quote unquote professional circumstances, but I can put on my Lucian accent right away, like they have no problem there of a Lucian, you get me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
was saying, when you talk about marketing,
mm,
marketing
yeah,
and not marketing, like we say in the
mm,
Caribbean, I'm like, I pick up on those
yeah, yeah,
things
yeah,
as someone who's acclimated in that
yeah,
society.
yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, so I'm a Lucian person, like through and through,
Yeah,
born and bred Lucian. But at the same time, I have this unique position where I can also resonate with Caribbean American people,
of course.
right? Who are still Caribbean but live up here, right? And that's also a very strong market for our company. And we also want to tell those stories as well, right? So there are stories to tell here in the United States from the Caribbean perspective,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's a very promising outlet for us as well.
Do you what is the reception like in St. Lucia, for your films?
Oh, they Lucians love our company. They call my mom the Ribbons of Blue lady,
Wow.
because Ribbons of Blue, though produced in the early 2000s, 2004, 2005, it because of how powerful that story was and how many people it touched, it still remains our flagship today.
Mm,
And the quality may not be 180p, it may not be even 720p, but for all your listeners, if they go to our YouTube and just look up Ribbons of Blue, it's on there for free, right? And just watch it, you'll see why. All right. It's a film that has made people cry. It makes people um, look internally at their own relationships with their moms and want to appreciate them a little bit more.
mm. Um, so St. Lucia has been for a minute, um, as far as I have seen, almost taking a lead in um, production. Uh, and here's why I say that. We have St. Lucians, comedians, St. Lucians, actors coming to Dominica to show their film and their work. And not necessarily the other way around, in at least in as big a way that it is St. Lucia coming to Dominica.
Yeah.
Um, is that is that your experience? Is that your experience that St. Lucia is, you know, probably having a moment with production?
I do feel that we have been blessed to have a lot of really talented people that have been producing uh content or working for a while.
Mhm.
So I want to shout out Chekapish. Chekapish is listeners might know one of the more prominent stage production companies that came out of St. Lucia. and Chekepesh is known pretty much worldwide. Shout out to Cokes, who was
Cokes is the
yeah.
guy. We know Cokes like crazy in
Yeah,
Dominica. I mean,
right. Yeah, so I just spoke to Cokes last week about potentially working on another production, right? So as I said earlier, it's all about continuity. We want to keep producing, we want to keep coming out with new stuff and working together to continue to build. And I think where there might be even greater potential is for Dominica to join us in creating what we're doing. Because I'm very big on Caribbean unity.
mhm.
And so I see a world in the next 5 years or 10 years or even 15 where it's not so hard to travel between islands. People are laughing as I say that. Right now it's way too difficult to travel, but if we can overcome that, I think our possibilities become limitless.
Mhm.
Because Caribbean people are talented, Caribbean
Mhm.
people are
Mhm.
gifted, Caribbean people are intelligent, we are driven, and we have that creative potential. And I'm excited for us to use it.
Yeah, I'm excited for what people are going to see, for Shantae's World. Um, as I wrap up with you, I want to find out, um, when people watch the film, what do you want them to walk away with?
When they watch the film, I personally want them to walk away with I want them to walk away fully convinced that Caribbean people can tell their stories, which are very much worth telling, in a professional, world-class way.
I think that's a perfect way to end.
Thank you
Perfection.
so much for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you, Ketty, for pulling up to the Caribbean Immigrant. We look forward to watching Shantae's World. We look forward to the screening, and I look forward to talking to the actual, actual brain
Yep.
behind Shantae's World soon. Absolutely looking forward to it, and looking forward to potential partnerships as we continue as Caribbean immigrants to stamp our footprint wherever we are.
Yeah, and I want to commend you too. I wasn't previously even aware of this podcast, but now that I am, you've got a lifelong follower because this
Say
is
more. Say more.
very much needed. This is very much needed in our community, and you're such a great host. I really love talking to you. I had a lot of fun today.
Eh, we because he said that, we can go for 10 minutes more. Patty, thank you for pulling up. Thank you for
Of
pulling up,
course.
and all the best, and I look forward to, Shantae's World, and thank you, everyone, for pulling up to the Caribbean Immigrant. I am Kamala Aaron. I'll see you next time.
Thanks.